Is your life a bummer? Zombie horrors living on the desolate surface of Mars, a cosmic thriller that blurs the line between science and fiction.
I think that's a great intro to this lore, to this story, to this world of space zombies from Mars. And Ira, you're a big part of that, right?
Yeah. Well, that video was made by our friend Ryan Steele, who's a old buddy of ours going way back to music. And yeah, so all the sounds you heard was from the album that we're making, or that we've made, that we're producing on vinyl here. And so that's where all those sounds were coming from. And the story is sort of the brainchild of my brother Arlen, who's the sculptor, and I.
Yeah, that's great. And just a quick shout out, ry.stee on Instagram. Check him out. That is Ryan's Instagram. He's got made that beautiful little video for us. All right. Well, thank you, Ira. Let's go ahead and jump into the Nameless Toy Company, which is your guys' toy company. So that's Arlen, Ira, brothers there, and our logistics master, right? Adam.
I hope so.
Yeah.
They hope so.
But you guys are creating this toy line called Space Zombies from Mars, and you're specifically kind of going for like a retro vibe, right?
Retro in the sense that, yeah, sort of present day in the line, and the story is like the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was the 90s, right? And first one of these characters that you guys are kind of jumping into here is Guy Garrison, and he's part of the military. It took me like, I think 2 or 3 weeks looking at the photos you guys were dropping, but there's like actually factions. And I love that there's factions, so you can kind of, get your toys all organized.
Yeah.
But tell us about Guy Garrison here.
Guy Garrison he's the military leader. So on that note of factions, I don't know if Adam knows this, but part of like what Arlen, some of his sort of like design basics, or like idea basics, really boils down to like the Ninja Turtles thing, where there's 4 of them and there's 4 different bandana colors, and that's like, he's like, if you look at some of his older ideas for other things he's done, it's always this sort of like, there's different like things are chopped into this many sections, and it's because of Ninja Turtles. It can be traced back down to there.
Okay. And I mean, you can't go wrong, right? Ninja Turtles is still going strong today.
That's right. Exactly. So Guy Garrison is our
bandanas.
That's right. Guy Garrison is our military guy. He's kind of the leader of Red Dust 2, which is the mission to Mars that's going on in the 1990s. It's the second mission, so he's sort of following in the footsteps of his mentor, Spike Spector, who we will see a little later.
So he is, okay, I didn't understand that relationship. So that's nice. So he's a mentee.
That's right.
Let's take a look at this figure, man. I think for the value that you're getting here, this is a $40 Kickstarter priced figure, and you're getting a backpack. You're getting a not a pulse rifle. You're getting a dossier, a little classified file, a helmet, 2 head sculpts, all the hands you could want. I mean, $40, man, that's a good price.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was very important to us that these were priced accordingly, and in line with the other lines that we think people that collect this line will probably be collecting. So, when you compare this to like a deluxe G.I. Joe classified figure, or sort of one of the more deluxe Marvel Legends figures, or, any deluxe offering from Operation Monster Force or Action Force or anything like that, this price point had to be something that made sense to those collectors. They couldn't look at this and go like, it's a little too expensive for what it is. So I think we kind of nailed that with the price points. So yeah, it's I mean, we think there's great value in this too.
Yeah, especially once you get like the unlocks, like then it's like
exactly
way good. Like, because the deal is crazy, because then you're getting like 4 heads. Yeah.
Once those blacked out things here get unlocked right here, which is a 3rd head, and then of course what I'm assuming is a zombie exploded head, or maybe a zombified, maybe like, what is that? A Last of Us kind of corpsey. A fungi.
Oh, right. Yeah. The mushroom head.
Yeah. But you also get an extra zombie part there. And now the reason you're throwing in that extra zombie part there is because if you do pick up their basic zombie here, this is a grayscale version, which Josh was kind of saying we should get some of these out. No. That way you can paint it up yourself.
I just think it looks good like that. It looks great like that, but yeah.
And I think that's a testament to Arlen's sculpt, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
We kind of went back and forth a little bit about the like artist proofs or, you know, the grayscale or whatever you kind of want to call them as a release. But ultimately, like having talked with other creators that I know that have done them, the units, I don't know anybody that would say that the units sort of back up offering that as a reward. By and large, you know, you offer it to sort of a niche within a niche. So within toy collecting, you know, there's going to be a niche that is going to support this line and want astronauts and want zombies. And then within that niche of collectors, there's a niche that does customizing that want blank sculpts. So it's not as though like everybody that backs the Kickstarter is going to be like, oh, I'll get 2 of these too and customize them.
Right.
You're talking about a very small percentage of even the backers within your Kickstarter. So, you know, if there's enough demand for these going forward, we would have these parts in the library. We could absolutely make these figures for a wave 1.5 or a wave 2 or just sort of a, you know, a special release or something like that. But the demand has to be there to sort of pay for the painted ones first for this to really make sense.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, that's such a great point. Yeah, to consider that, because you don't want to just do something just because you like it, right? It has to be like, does it make fiscal sense? Exactly.
That's true. Yeah, and if you customizers are going to customize regardless if they have a grayscale too.
yeah.
And what we've noted too is that, like, you know, there's the potential to get a white astronaut.
Yeah.
So like you're already, you know, pretty limited in sort of how much color is on that one. It wouldn't be too hard to use that one as your kind of blank astronaut, quote unquote.
Our boy Michael Locke, man.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going here, but I lost a nice variation here that you have too. Right? You have a $40 deluxe figure, but then you're also offering a $25, you know, military Red Walker zombie figure, right? It's going to come with less, right? Because it is a $25 figure, but I don't, you know, you're getting a cool helmet, you're getting 3 head sculpts, and one thing I think me and Josh have always said on our channel is like, we appreciate more head sculpts, right? Out of the accessories that we prefer, it's head sculpts over hands, over, you know, weapons. Like we, as collectors, you accumulate that stuff already, and so getting unique head sculpts is I think where the money's at. So
no, absolutely agree that, you know, I have, you know, weapons galore in a bunch of bins, whether that's, you know, firearms or sci-fi weapons or swords and bows and like whatever. And so we did actually have a conversation about like, should we include a weapons pack or something like that? And ultimately, there's so many weapons packs out there, and it doesn't really fit with what we're offering in the Kickstarter in terms of how it fits into the lore. So it would have just been a skew that kind of just, you know, it would just sort of crowd the Kickstarter a little bit, and it would have increased the cost of the Kickstarter as well.
Right. But yeah, there's that $25. So if again you have those options, right, 40, 25. Back what you can on Kickstarter. Now, Ira, from the lore that I've read that you guys have put out, these kind of zombies act differently based off of their faction. Can you tell us a little bit about how the Red Walker military acts?
Yeah, so they're basically derived from what they were like as humans, but mostly kind of derived from what their sort of faction leader was like as a human. So, you know, they're just a little more cutthroat, a little more ruthless, a little more violent, because Guy Garrison is all those things. And so they're sort of following in the footsteps of their leader, if you will.
Okay, interesting. My mind, and then you don't have to confirm it. Are we talking hive mind here a little bit? We'll see. Next character that you guys are dropping here is Julia Stryker. Coming in the blue, right? You know, you got your green turtle, you got your blue turtle now.
That's right. This is the Leonardo of the bunch.
Yeah, kind of fitting, right? Because she's kind of you go ahead and describe her.
Well, she's the scientist. She's the mother of the group. She takes care of everyone. She is sort of the lover of life and works a lot with kids, and her thing is like, teaching and being part of, you know, raising children. She wants to make Mars better. She wants to go to Mars and do a better job of colonizing Mars than we sort of have done with the Earth, and just sort of be kinder and basically make a better culture on Mars as far as taking care of their environment.
That's nice. Yeah. It comes with great accessories too. The little camera. So shows you that little more sensitive, more artistic side of her.
Mhm.
And what we initially thought was a harp is actually a moon, Mars rock. Mars rock is what it is.
Well, it's actually what it is there's a scene in the comic book where she's working with kids and she's doing like a craft project, and they're like, it says like young Martians or something, and she's, you know, they've got these rocks and they're painting them red. So that's kind of just like sort of a character trait, right? So we have each of the figures is going to come with something that's sort of character based, which is her camera and her red rocks. And then also, Guy has the classified thing there. And then also he's got the sort of weapons, where Julia has the, you know, sample collecting tools as part of her accessories.
Yeah.
And then they're all
that. Yeah, that is such a good, like, just, you know, we speak of the attention to like the paint and sculpt, but this is like attention to the actual figure and accessories to each character. That is awesome.
Yeah, and they're all the claws are articulated, and all those little circles are different articulation points. And the pipes are bendable, and they all, everything fits into the same little ports. All the characters have those same little ports. So as Adam says this a lot, they're very modular. So things can fit through in the whole line. Things fit together in different ways.
Thank you.
Yeah, that makes it just a lot more fun to play with, and you're not stressing about like, oh, I can't put this here, or can I put this there, or do I have to trim it down to get it in there?
Yeah.
Another thing cool that I'm digging here is the zombie parts, man. I love that each one is coming with their own unique version, right? We had the potentially clicker head or exploded zombie head, but then we have this. And for me, when I'm looking at this silhouette, I'm thinking it's like a neck piece that's been ripped out, so you get a little bit of that spinal column. I don't know though.
You got some stuff. Sometimes you think about what accessories they come with and what sort of shapes you might find if they're being used on something. So
okay,
you know, I'm not giving away the whole thing here, but you know,
to me, I think it kind of looks like a part of like a ripped off limb. Like it looks like it could be attached to like the thigh, or maybe at the bicep swivel, and then this just like the ripped off kind of bloodied out limb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, gruesome, but okay.
Or it's like a Krampus with a really long beard and like.
It's actually an upside down gnome.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. No.
Another cool thing here is that you guys are including with the separate heads, not only different, but like different faces, right? It's not just Julia Stryker that you can create with this figure. You can create other characters as well.
That's right. So if you pop off the head, sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, I was going to say Guy Garrison, you know, comes with the Guy Garrison head, and then because he's a military guy, he comes with sort of an army builder that's just a, you know, kind of a nondescript masked face. Then all the other astronauts from Red Dust 2, so Julia Stryker, Michael Locke, and Georgia McBride, all come with an alternate human head sculpt. And so Julia Stryker comes with a male head, Michael Locke comes with a female head, Georgia McBride comes with another male head. So you get sort of options for you know how you want your collection to be. So if you want multiple female astronauts, you have the option in there. And that was important because, you know, most space missions, you know, aren't just a bunch of white dudes that like go to space. Some of them were, but you know, you kind of look at the International Space Station, and it's way more diverse than that. Like it's not, you know, it's not as sort of simple as like, yeah, these are all heroes. It's like these are kind of normal people, and they represent, you know, everyone. So that was something that was very, very important to represent with the line.
And it's a colonizing mission, so you can't just have a bunch of dudes.
Or else we get weak chins, right? Or I guess you can't reproduce.
Yeah, it's not a very effective colonizing mission.
I was just gonna say too, as you were saying that, Adam, I appreciate the different skin tones that you've been able to get here, the different face types that you've been able to get into, and your justification or like your explanation for it, because it is space, right? You're not going to have a bunch of white dudes when this takes place, right? It is going to be an effort, you know, different ethnicity effort. But yeah,
that was really important to Arlen too when he was creating the characters. That was a point that he really wanted to sort of put forward, was like, this isn't just like a bunch of like, you know, generic white guys. It's like it's people from everywhere and from all different backgrounds, and that was really important to him.
Love that, man. Love that. And along with Julius Strecker here, we also get the Red Walker Science faction zombie in the blue. And again, the cool thing here that you guys are doing, if you do pick up both of these figures, you can create zombie double leg, double zombie legs. And so that's a nice little touch here for
Zombie in shorts, dude.
Zombie in shorts, right?
Yeah.
Beach zombie.
Summer
Vacation
zombies. Yeah.
Summer zombies.
But yeah, and looking really, really great here. The last one that you guys are offering here, just in your initial Kickstarter, is going to be the glow in the dark Kickstarter exclusive. Now that does bump the price up to 31, but I mean, it's glow in the dark, guys. Come on. And you're also getting the backpack.
It's going to be more stuff than the $25 figures. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And you're getting the zombie limbs as well. And I guess I think we already know why it is glow in the dark. But Adam, do you want to explain to us why?
Well, I mean, it was important to have a Kickstarter exclusive, and if you're making a toy line, what's cooler than a glow in the dark action figure? So it kind of just made practical sense. And then beyond that, it's glow in the dark, but I also like translucent. So we're working very hard to make this a translucent glow in the dark figure. Glow in the dark is kind of locked in. That's easy because there's a couple different ways we can go about that. But the sort of translucent aspect of it, we just have to confirm with the factory. But the factory that we're using, which is the same factory that does Mythic Legions, has done translucent glow in the dark figures before. So to our sort of knowledge, there's no reason that they couldn't do this. So it's just us having to confirm that. But glow in the dark and translucent are just cool. Like it just you don't really need a reason to make a figure.
The reason is the Kickstarter exclusive, baby. That's the reason.
Yeah, exactly. It's like because Arlen wanted it to do glow in the dark, and I really wanted to push for translucent, so that's why it's translucent glow in the dark. Like you're getting all the zombie parts, between the zombies and the astronauts. You're getting this suit, you're getting the backpack, you're getting the cracked fishbowl helmet. So there's nothing in here that sort of adds, if you skip this one, I don't know how or why you would skip this one, but if you skip this one, like you still get access to kind of all the parts, but yeah, glow in the dark, like,
yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
And it's going to be a Kickstarter exclusive. And then beyond that, if there's any quantity left, we're going to hold on to it. So you're not going to see this available from online retailers. You're not going to see this popping up anywhere that we're not. So if we're at a show, we might bring a few of these with us. If we do a giveaway, if we do some sort of promo, if we do like Toys for Tots or something like that, this is where you're going to get this. Arlen and I, talked extensively about like exclusives by name should be exclusive in nature. So you can't just call something exclusive and then just put it out there in 6 months and let everybody get it. We'll sit on these as long as we have to if we have extras.
Okay.
To sort of make sure that this is truly an exclusive figure. So if you want to guarantee that you get one of these, you got to back it in the Kickstarter. That's sort of like your best bet, and for now your only bet of getting one of these.
I think that's why I love Kickstarters. It's just because people who are making these toys are collectors themselves, and like you explain that to me, like where let's say someone who discovers zombies from space, zombies from Mars, like later on, they're going to be bummed that they didn't get this, but then they're going to be fine because, like you said, they're going to have access to all the parts and the library. And so they're going to be bummed, but they didn't miss out on really too much. But then the people who have been here since day one can like kind of rejoice and be like, all right, I have something like a piece of like this toy history.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy now, right? And my thinking is that like, it's easy now for anybody that's getting in now before, the line is really sort of properly physically launched. It's relatively easy to get. You just got to, you gotta put your money in and there you go. But going forward, if somebody misses out on this, I don't want somebody that might not hear about us or maybe can't afford it today to not ever be able to get it. So my feeling with exclusives is like, if you can't get it now, as long as you put in a little bit of work, you'll probably be able to get one. So like if we've got a few that we're going to put up at a convention, or if we're going to do a prize or whatever, like if you work hard enough, you'll get one of these eventually.
Yeah, you should show up first.
You gotta earn it.
But you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. Exactly. Like it's an exclusive. You gotta earn it.
That's the fun part about exclusives too. Like there's also like kind of think collectors have like an itch. We have an itch where like getting that kind of elusive figure. Once you get it, you get really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Ira, is there a lore explanation as to why this zombie glows, or is it just glow in the dark because it's cool?
You know what? I was actually just thinking about that when you guys were talking. And I was kind of thinking about like, wouldn't it be cool to just like write a panel that has like, somebody shuts out the lights and one of the zombies glowing, and then one guy's like, hey, why is that zombie glowing? And the other guy's like, I don't know, but doesn't it look cool?
So dope. And especially like a horror aspect to it, like have like a black panel and then the next panel just like a glow in the dark zombie face. That'd be cool.
And just like explain that it's like nobody knows why. It's like
but it's just like, but it looks cool.
Right. They all say it just is.
just to make the like we don't know. Just make that part of the lore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know, so you don't know.
Yeah, write that down, Ira.
So it's up here. It's up here.
All right, but that kind of rounds out. Well, sorry, that rounds out the figures. You guys are kind of being. I think probably the most unique part about you guys is you guys are dropping a vinyl and a comic book. But this vinyl, man, tell me, Ira, you're the music guy, right?
Well, I'm one of the music guys. My brother's also the music guy. So him and I basically. This whole thing started from Arlen and I going, hey, we haven't been in a band together since we were kids. Why don't we start a band again? Like a dad band, we called it. We would only play shows. We were like, yeah, we'll only play shows, but we'll never start after 9:00. Like it's early shows and then to bed.
Really?
But that's right. We rock, but not that hard. No, so we basically were like, we're going to start a band, and we got together one night and we wanted to start writing some music and figure out what kind of music we were going to do. But Arlen had just got this little puppy, and Oscar, and he fell asleep on my chest while I was sitting down or laying on the couch for a minute. And of course, we're dads, we can't wake the baby. So we basically, Arlen was like, okay, well, since we're just sitting here talking, he showed me these sketches he'd done of the kind of this original sort of, the floating guy in the middle of the vinyl there.
Yeah.
And it was very similar to that. And he was like, I'm just trying to draw these up and see if I can do a drawing the way that people hand me drawings and then expect me to sculpt them. So he was kind of trying to get to that other side of it, that sort of the creation side from the beginning, and then turn it into sculpts. And I was like, those are really cool. And then I was like, hey, why don't we like make an album based on that drawing and call it Space Zombies from Mars? And then he was like, yeah, let's do that. And then we basically decided the entire story arc that night. We wrote it on a napkin and just wrote it all down as song by song, what was happening to these astronauts going to Mars. And so we created this whole sort of, it's basically a soundtrack. There's no singing on it. There is some talking and samples and words, but it's more to explain the vibe, the mood, rather than sort of put forward the story. So the story is really told in the music, which is why we also had to have a comic book go with it.
That's some Eastman and Laird though origins, man. Writing the story on the napkin. That's how they do their turtles.
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually napkin, but it was something close by. I know it was in red ink. I do remember it being in red ink.
Oh. I'm excited for this vinyl, man. I collect vinyl. I have a, not a like huge collection, but I have albums that I like in it. Mm-hmm. And to get a cool vinyl that goes with your toys, man, that's like, I was sold.
Yeah.
With that, I saw that, I was like, no way.
Yeah, Arlen and I are both vinyl collectors too, so it was it's kind of a dream come true for us in that sense.
That's cool. And the comic book, the Cosmic Legions during Legions Con, they released a little ash can comic book to tell a little story. It was a couple pages, but I took it upon myself to like try and learn stop motion animation through telling that story in stop motion animation, and learned a lot. Made a lot of mistakes. It looks crazy, but when I get my figures, and hopefully I can animate that comic book as much as I can, because I am all in on this. I am prepared to launch. I am planning to get that book out and animate those panels through just using those action figures. Man, I'm excited for it too. So
that's really cool, man. That's a cool hobby. That, especially when you're like a collector of action figures, to be able to, then create something with those. That's really cool.
Yeah, and another reason too is because like I do photography too, and it kind of just jumped into the stop motion. But I used to like I still do editing and like movie editing and stuff. But I never could listen to music while you edit, and I hate that. But when you do stop motion, you can listen to any music you want.
Yeah.
It's another reason like I like doing it.
I think that's the cool thing with the vinyl too. Like if you're a customizer or like you said, a stop motion person, you pop this on the vinyl to get in the mood, and then you just start customizing, painting your zombie figures or
Start creating
doing
it,
stop
yeah.
motion. Yeah.
I set up most of the Kickstarter like campaign page while listening to the soundtrack, just to like be thinking of the world, and it was, yeah, it's great. It's super fun. As
Excited.
Ira said, it's very much a sound. It's like an original score. It's sort of a better way. You know, people hear soundtrack and they kind of think like songs, but it's more of an original score with some sort of nuggets of lore kind of dropped in. And yeah, it's cool, man, and it's fun, and it's a bit of an emotional ride, you know, to listen to the record front to back, because it does sort of go with the story of what happens, you know. So they go to Mars, and they're optimistic, and they're, you know, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and as we know, you know, there's some spoilers in the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You know, there's zombies.
Tragedy.
It doesn't all go according to plan, and so there's tracks that definitely reflect the anxiety that, you know, that kind of situation would induce.
Love
so
that.
it's super cool.
Love that. And you guys are offering this digitally as well as physically, and I love that, because that drops kind of the buy-in on this Kickstarter. So like maybe you're not into figures, or maybe you can't afford these figures, like you were saying. You could. How much is the digital version? I think $11, $12.
Yeah, the digital bundle for the digital soundtrack and a digital version of the comic, I think, is like $10 or $11, depending on, you know,
US,
currency
yeah.
exchange. Yeah, US. It's 15 Canadian, so whatever that kind of converts to in US dollars.
Yeah, and speaking of which, if you guys are on the Kickstarter right now, checking out that page, make sure you're switching your currency to your regional currency, right? Hopefully, you know, whatever you got to scroll all the way down to the bottom, change it there. If you're signed in, I think Kickstarter already does that, but just make sure that it's in your currency, so you're looking at the numbers you will be paying. But yeah, no, this is great. And let's take a look here at the exploded view that you guys released. I guess there was some requests for this to kind of get a more of a breakdown of the figure itself, as well as kind of, when I see these, I always like kind of look for articulation and where I can potentially pull things apart. And your line lends itself to a lot of that popping and swapping with the different zombie legs and arms that, you know, it's encouraged, right, with the pack-in. But yeah, this exploded views are always nice, not necessarily always necessary, but I do appreciate them, because I didn't know that the neck was a separate piece, so you get that double neck movement. Love that. The drop down hips, when I saw that, I was like, yes, that those just makes it a lot more easier for posing as well. And then the butterflies look really good too. So
yeah, the articulation scheme on this is fantastic. You know, Arlen was very particular about the articulation scheme and wanted to make sure that the articulation was as good as we could get with these sculpts. He's still kind of constantly refining them and tweaking them and trying to get a little bit more range of motion out of the joints. But as far as, you know, what you get, you're getting all the articulation that you would want from a modern 6-inch scale action figure. So it's, you know, as you mentioned, you know, the head is on a separate neck piece from the torso, so you get plenty of articulation in the neck. Then you get the butterfly joints at the shoulders, double jointed elbows and knees, bicep cut, thigh cut, boot cut. The torso is broken into 3 pieces, and there's no ab crunch, and there's no awkward kind of waist, you know, cut. It's sort of those embedded pieces like you see with like GI Joe Classified. So you've got ball joints for those parts. So it's going to be a little bit more of like a dynamic and a little bit more organic. You know, it's an action figure, but you know, it's not limited. Like you can't just crunch it forward and back. It can go side to side and stuff like that. So it's a very, very well executed action figure. Yeah. And there's people that sort of said, well, they're astronauts, you know, they're in big bulky suits. Like, why do you need them to move that way? Maybe you don't, you know, maybe you want your astronauts to be kind of big and bulky and clumsy and awkward, and when they're being chased by zombies, that's a disadvantage. That's, you know, that can work for some people.
People are complaining
People
about
want
too
their
much
astronauts in a hero
articulation.
pose.
People are complaining about too much articulation. Are you kidding me?
Well, but you might want your, might want your astronaut in a hero pose too. But I think it's like almost more important for the zombies, because you want the zombies to be like all crooked and kind of like out of
Mangled, yeah.
joint, and like, so that articulation will really work really well when you're posing your zombies. I think more so than your astronauts, even maybe. Your astronaut will hit any pose that you want, but your zombies will really hit those zombie poses that you're gonna.
Yeah, and what we're looking at too here, this is like kind of the fully armored up, suited up guys, but there's like a second piece on top of the torsos that you guys are adding on, right? The figure itself has like more of like a chest, like a regular chest piece and a regular waist, and then there's a secondary piece that goes on top.
Yeah.
So that's
absolutely.
nice.
Yeah, if you think about like G.I. Joe Classified or Operation Monster Force or any of those lines, they do this same thing where there's a base buck inside there, and then they use a secondary kind of overlay to make the figures a little bit more unique. So when you're looking at that slide there, we got the retro zombie raid in the middle, and then the astronaut to either side. So there's actually the same base body for these figures, but a different secondary piece that allows for a little bit of a different aesthetic for the kind of 1960s, pulp sci-fi zombie right in the center, and then the 90s astronaut with more updated, more modern looking suit.
And I love that, because then you get more use out of that mold, right? That buck can be changed in so many different ways.
Yes.
Even though it's the same, there's different vibes to it with paint apps and different secondary part pieces. So that's super smart.
Like, how easily would you say it is like to take that rubber overlay piece off and kind of put it on a different color so I can get like a red and blue astronaut? Would that be pretty easy to do?
Theoretically it should be pretty easy to do. Yeah.
Dang, man, I didn't even think about this.
Yes.
So that's opening up a lot more potential there.
Yeah, you could have a Christmas astronaut with like a green suit and red. Like you could switch the secondaries and the green and red ones.
There you go.
You could have Christmas zombies if you want.
That would fit with our other
summer
line.
Zombies.
Christmas, summer. Well, you could have Christmas and summer, so you can have like different. You can have like a seasonal zombie collection. It gets a little cooler, in the springtime. Maybe you don't need sleeves. You're a zombie, you get rid of your sleeves, but you still want those pants for a little bit of warmth.
Right.
Maybe you're that weird high school PE coach. You got full sleeves because it's wintertime, so it's cold, but you're kind of that weird dude that just wears shorts all the time.
Yeah, all year.
So you can kind of pick and choose, right? Depending on your temperature needs.
And Ira, you were saying this is similar to another line. Are you speaking of the Naughty and Nice zombie Santa?
Yeah, that's Arlen's other line. So he created all that stuff. That's his brainchild.
That's so cool.
So yeah, that would be right up his alley to make the Christmas zombies, because he's already done it.
Yeah, there you go. And so this is going to be your initial offering for the Kickstarter. That's currently like what we're trying to get to the goal of. It's going to be those two zombies in the military and the science, the two characters, Julius Stryker, Guy Garrison, as well as that exclusive. Now, if you want all of this plus the vinyl and the comic book, that's going to get you 182 US. That is not a bad price, man. Again, you're getting a little bit of a discount on these bundles that you guys have set up, which we always appreciate. And yeah, no, this is a great, solid offering. Speaking of your goal is at 117.88. It's a weird number because of the conversion, right?
Yeah.
It's not a nice, even number, so it's okay if your friends are freaking out about that. 808, think of a big old drum, big old bass there, and 117, that's my boy Master Chief. So 22,000 was when we were last checked on this, when we did our video. You guys were at 22,000. So a really good, healthy opening on your first couple of days. You had 26 days to go. You're currently, from when I got this screenshot here, 32,995. I got the Kickstarter here. You guys are at, let me see, I think 33, right?
Probably. $5.
Yeah, it's been like steady, growth.
Yeah,
there.
it's been steady. I mean, that's it. That's that's what we keep saying, is that like we're like 2 weeks in now, and what you typically see sort of in the middle of a campaign of Kickstarter or HasLab or whatever it is that you kind of see this like lull through the center where there's not much going on. Yeah. But we're a smaller company, like a non-existent company effectively before we launched this.
Yeah.
So we're kind of starting from scratch. Like this is totally like a grassroots crowd-funded thing. So we've actually seen like day over day, like pretty steady like increases. We would love to see, bigger increases. I anticipate that we're going to see a big spike at the end.
As always.
Spike for spike, we'll get, that
Yeah.
spike unlocked. But
Hashtag spike for spike.
Spike for
for
spike.
spike. Bucks for bucks is the other thing. People are like, why don't you do a female buck? And we were like, it's expensive. We need more bucks to make more bucks. And we're just, we're quietly confident still that like this thing is still on track. My anxiety gets the best of me sometimes, and I kind of like, I'm like, what more can we do? Like, what else do we do?
Right.
Where else do we sort of reach out to? But every video that we do, more eyes get on the video. Every video that we do, more the audience, widens a little bit, and somebody goes, I've never heard of this. Like, I'm down. I'll grab a couple figures. So we're kind of just like steadily building, and it's been really, really cool, because I keep thinking that number is going to stop going up, but it doesn't. It just sort of keeps going up, which is great. We just need to kind of keep pushing and keep doing more videos, and sort of keep getting the word out there, and keep having people kind of share the link to the Kickstarter page and share a picture, share the video from the intro page, whatever it is, all those little things help, and all those little things, get the word out and get eyes on the project. And that's ultimately, what we need is eyes on the project. So,
and I think we've interviewed a couple of people that have done their Kickstarters, and like, I think that's the main thing, is like getting people to look at it, getting people to see it, but also like getting to know the creators. Like, when I met the guy who was doing the Galactic Valor, when we met the guy, I interviewed the guy for Galactic Valor, like, it just made me want to buy more, because like I liked him as a person. And even the Brutal Realm team, like their enthusiasm for their line kind of made me more enthused. And like talking to you guys, and it just gets your face out there, your personalities out there. And I think that gives a lot of goodwill, and people are like, yeah, I'll buy, the exclusive, or I'll buy the 25, right? And that's what we need, right? We want that consistent growth here. You guys are currently at 33,400. So
nice.
Good little bump. I took this morning, so that's pretty good.
I wouldn't say you guys should not be worried. Like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
That's my nature. I keep saying this. If this had funded like the first day, I'd still be anxious.
Yeah,
just
for
because
sure.
I'd be like, everybody's gonna cancel. It's like this. What's gonna go wrong? Like, that's just who I am. I won't be comfortable until April 1st. I won't be like,
no, this will fun easy. Yeah.
I think you guys will hit your goal, and plus all. I think.
Yeah, like I said, like we're super confident that, like, people are seeing it, people are loving it. There's been the odd person that's like, oh, I wish I could have gotten, the orange astronaut and it wasn't a stretch goal. And we're like, well, back it. Unlock. Like, that's how this works. So
yeah,
we couldn't put them all on the other side of the unlock, because then the funding goal would have just been massive, and then people would just shied away just because of that. But I've said this before, that the funding goal is the funding goal. We couldn't possibly have gone any lower. It would have been irresponsible of us to go any lower than that. That's the number that we need to sort of unlock, the molds and to sort of pay for everything that needs to get paid for. Beyond that, as far as the stretch goals go, everything in the stretch goals really represents more tooling plates. So the stretch goals are spaced pretty close together, and they're close together because we're really just trying to sort of pay for the an additional tooling plate or 2 additional tooling plates or something like that. But ultimately, between the funding goal and everything being unlocked, I think the difference is about $50,000. And that funding goal is super important. We will have, late pledges. We will be doing a backer kit. So that money will go towards unlocking things, later down the line if we can. But really, that funding goal ultimately is like a minimum threshold. So we're cutting it as close as we possibly can, as I said, without just kind of risking not being able to afford even making these. So
the funding goal is way low. Like, I would say this is like one of the lowest kind of Kickstarter goals I've seen, really.
And we're not expecting any retailer bumps.
Correct. Yeah, like we've been seeing a lot of Kickstarters that go up, and that last couple days they solicit to the retailers, and then that just kind of puts their numbers in some cases very unrealistically, right? Like, just very unexpectedly. Sorry, but yeah, you guys have already kind of baked that in within your funding goal, correct?
Yeah, so we reached out to a couple online retailers that had expressed interest and basically said, like if you are interested, would you be willing to sort of put in a pre-order on April 1st, assuming this thing funds? And they said, yeah, here's kind of the tentative numbers that we could commit to. And the reason that we did that is twofold. One, Kickstarter takes a pretty decent chunk off the top of every dollar that goes through the Kickstarter. So, if you sort of couple the Kickstarter cut with the discounted price that retailers are going to expect to pay, you're not really yet getting any closer to your funding goal, because you're effectively, it's just sort of offsetting rather than sort of generating capital for you. But also, we didn't want to put the financial burden of this brand on a retailer. We
Yeah.
wanted to present the retailer with a collector base and a fan base that organically supported the line and sort of funded the campaign, and then say, hey, they're on board, now you guys are on board, now we've got sort of a healthy brand going forward.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like that, it is just going to be like, if this project funds, it's because people were interested in it. And I think as an investor, potentially that's a lot more appealing, right? Because you have guaranteeing customers instead of just like a product, right?
It also means that backers are it,
Yeah.
there's not like, if you get sort of the minimum number of backers, but then a retailer backs it, it's kind of the retailer that backed the campaign, almost
Yes.
more so than like the backers. And to me, that just doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
We could have just like sold the idea to somebody else if we wanted to go that route, but we want people, we genuinely want backers to like feel like they're part of something and part of this company and part of this project. And so it was again, it was important to us to not just sort of hand this over to a retailer, and to rather have communication with people that are interested in the IP, people that are interested in the sculpts and the designs. And there's a bunch of different reasons that people are into it. Maybe there was a toy line from their childhood, maybe there's a particular figure, maybe there was a movie, maybe there's a lot of touch points that people are kind of putting out there as like, oh, is this inspired by X, Y, and Z? And sometimes they nail it, and other times we've never heard of the thing they're thrown out there. So it's really,
That's good,
really
though.
cool. It is good, and that's what I mean, is that like it's really cool how many people are sort of connecting to this for a whole bunch of different
Right.
reasons.
Yeah, for whatever reason it is.
Adam, I love that you said that. Like, because then because if you do that where you kind of do it to a retailer, you're basically playing yourself, because then you're not like showing the strength of your brand, showing the strength of your work. It's like it's getting done through other avenues, where like if you can get this to the goal, which I believe you guys will, then it shows the interest of just regular collectors. And then you know that like, okay, this is a success and this is a real brand that we can do for multiple waves.
Love it. All right, let's talk about some other stuff here. We got some stretch goals. And like you were mentioning, these are nice and close to each other, right? They just kind of cascade. And I think that's 100% what's going to happen. Once you guys hit that goal, you're going to see this
snowball, baby.
Yeah,
snowball.
We're going to get a big old snowball where it's just ding, 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 ding. Everything's going to be unlocked here. First up here, we got Red Dust 1 Captain, I'm assuming, Spike Spectre, the main baddie. Ira, tell us a little bit about Spike.
Oh yeah, he's the main villain. You can see by his eyebrows. It's funny. My son, he was looking at this guy. And he was like, Uncle Arlen really has a way of making bad guys, doesn't he? Like, there's a few of the elves and different things, other things he's done that has those kind of like evil eyebrows. But yeah, so he's the main bad guy. He's Guy Garrison's mentor. And so he goes to Mars with the first mission, trying to get to Mars, looking for something specific that you can see in the bottom corner of the screen that's all bony looking and bloody. That is a very powerful magical alien weapon.
There it is. Adam's got it on screen there.
That's right. That he goes looking for. And so whether or not he finds it, I guess you'll have to read the book. Or wait, it's in his package. Maybe it just.
He's got it. It just comes with it. Right? It's just what he wants.
Spoilers.
But yeah, and I love the differentiation of the red missions. This comes with the bubble helmet, where the new ones come with like the more traditional The more
Yeah.
modern spacesuits, and then this backpack's a little more jetpacky, and the other one's like more of a space walk suit there. So I love that we're getting two different versions of astronauts within this line here. But he also comes with some extra parts there. Again, fully loaded, $40 there, friends. There's that grayscale version of him to kind of appreciate that sculpt that we're getting. And we also get a retro Red Walker as well. So that Guy Garrison suit with the zombie parts and the beautiful, and we do have questions about this, that beautiful melted broken dome helmet, man. The way you guys, at least it's rendered here, I'm excited to see those pieces, because like that plastic looks clear, it looks perfectly cracked, like it looks great.
It's pretty cool because as you turn it around on the neck, you'll see it's differently jagged all around it. Right. So it'll always look like, if you have different head sculpts and you want it to look differently broken, you just turn it, right?
Yeah, that's so nice. Yeah, you can kind of tell here with it on, just rotate it around to get different looks. I love that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I feel like it's something that I've never seen on a figure, like a clear cracked thing. So I'm wondering, when you guys went to like the factory, like did you guys have like any kind of pushback, like this cannot be done, this is not possible, or was it pretty easy to execute?
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's like, as far as the factory's concerned, it's the same as the full helmet, right? It just has to interface with the secondary kind of harness around the neck, but the upper part is somewhat irrelevant, really, because it's just injected plastic, so they can inject into sort of any shape or size or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. It looks cool. I really do like it. I just want to go over the funding. Cool. The funding goals here. So Spike's going to unlock at 126.5, and then we get the zombie at 133,500. So again, nice and close, nice and tight funding goals there. Let's keep it going though. This is one thing that I love that you guys are doing here. At 137,000 US, you guys are unlocking the extra hands. So all the hands that you guys are commenting that have been grayed out are going to be thrown into the package for free. So you don't have to add any additional cost to get like a hands pack. It's just unlocked, a full, like a true unlock, to get more hands on your figure, right? Making that $40 price point even more approachable. Yeah, and then let's go to the next figure here. 144,000. We get our white scientist, and these last two are I think mine and Josh's favorites. But we get Dr. Michael Locke here, part of the medical team, in that white, the red like kind of highlights that we're getting there, and those zombie pieces that are grayed out. They look interesting. But yeah, and he also comes with a little book that I love. Again, building that character story, building that lore, and then also bone saw that it can be attached to different things as well.
So that bone saw can be also attached to the arms that Julia had, and then the claws could be attached to that handle, or everything's modular that way.
Okay, looking at that grayed out zombie piece, that's a blade, right? Did he rip through a zombie? I think that's a blade. That looks like a blade that ripped through, like it's been inserted into us.
That's gonna be sick. Yeah, to have a zombie with the blade in there. Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, this beautiful white zombie, and like Adam was mentioning earlier, this is a great kind of. Oh no, Adam! Do you see it, Josh? Let me pin him.
Oh, that's so cool,
man! And so that can just be attached to the torso, I'm assuming.
It'll be. You could replace the blade.
Oh, okay. So it's just ripping through.
It's like an effect piece almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's an effect for sure.
For some reason, I can't opinion it.
No worries.
So Michael Locke is the nerd of the group. He's like us, He's the closest to us as it gets. He's always got a book in his hand. This book, I don't know if there's actual. You probably can't read it, but in the book, in the comic book, he's obsessed with this fictional book series called The Unslain, and it's part of Arlen's sort of mind and some of his previous things he's sculpted, and it's kind of like a backwards past version of our universe, and it's like kind of fictional but kind of real life, and yeah, so it's that little book is a big, what do you call it, an Easter egg, I suppose, to a whole bunch of other things in the Nameless universe.
Oh, okay. some future stuff once this funds, right? Which is it's going to.
That's
Don't
right.
worry.
Yeah. So like the zombies from Mars, it's like really just kind of a small piece of this sort of giant universe that Arlen and I have created in our brains. Yeah.
I'm excited. All right, let's keep it going here. We're also getting the medical red walker as well. This one comes with the Promethean head, I believe is the correct term for the skulled out head on the zombie. And again, come with a broken visor, alternate heads, $25, 148,000 to unlock.
That jaw's articulated as well.
Oh, okay. Articulated jaw. Nice. And another pack in here, friends. At 155,000, we unlock all those extra zombie pieces. That one that Adam just showed us off with that blade, man, you can get that unlocked. So please, everyone, back this Kickstarter so that I can have all those fun, cool little accessories and parts and pieces to make that $40 figure that much more deluxe. But yeah, kind of, I'm assuming you guys like have seen other Kickstarters, and that's kind of why you kind of went with this pack-in method. But like, what's kind of the reasoning behind that?
I mean, the reasoning behind it is largely because, those extra parts cost money. So we needed to sort of generate funds to sort of be able to afford to pack them in. But also, and I've been saying this for a while, like we're not going to finish the campaign without everything being at least shown, even if it's not unlocked,
Right.
We're going to sort of show people what's out there. We're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to be sneaky or anything like that. But it does create, conversations. It does push people to kind of like talk about like, well, what do you think it is? Like, I think it might be this, like, it looks like it could be this. And it's fun for me, having seen everything, to listen to people guess incorrectly. And then sometimes people guess correctly. You're the first person that guessed the spinning blade, with gore effect on it. I've heard lots of different things from lots of different people, and that's the first time that you mentioned, or that anybody mentioned that specifically and kind of nailed it.
That's why you showed it to us, huh?
And that's why I showed it to you, yeah, because you were right, so you win the prize of getting to see it. But with somebody for this one was like, "Oh, I know what it is. It's a head sculpt with dreadlocks," and I'm like,
"It's Static Shock."
This is our Rastafarian astronaut that's
our Astrafarian.
Yeah, so there's been some really incorrect guesses, which are also fun. They don't get to see what's behind the shadow, but it's fun for me. So yeah, getting people talking about this and getting people sort of speculating is super fun, and we really want to be able to pack all these things in. We're gonna try as hard as we can to like pack as much value into these as we possibly can. And so, it was just, this is just sort of a way to get there, is to put them behind a stretch goal, the hands and then the zombie parts. When the zombie parts unlock, it also unlocks the extra head for the zombies.
Right.
So
yeah.
Everybody gets more stuff when we get to that point, in the funding goal. So yeah, it's just, it was just sort of a different strategy than doing like additional parts packs that you had to like buy or anything like that. And if you backed early, it's in your best interest to be out there campaigning, because you want to get your extra pack-ins, right? So so it's kind of like twofold. We want people to talk about this, and we also want, in that sort of same way that I said I wanted this to be really organic and really sort of a grassroots crowdfunded thing, we're suggesting to people, like, share these pictures, start these conversations with people that because we might not be able to reach the same audience that you do. We are not going to sit here and presume that like every collector is going to see this because of what we do. We need the help of guys like you, people with channels, people with more reach through Instagram, people with more reach through Facebook, through whatever websites, YouTube channels, wherever you're sharing this, have at it, just get it out there. Get eyes on the project, because that's ultimately what gets us funded and gets us, unlocking those stretch goals. It's just more eyes on the project, more people seeing what we're doing.
Yeah. And let's round out here the orange Sulu, which is something that we wanted when you guys were soliciting or like kind of teasing all the pictures and stuff. We were like, man, an orange space, we need an orange astronaut. Like, that's just classic astronaut vibes. And I think that next week or something, few days later, you guys dropped the picture of Georgia here, McBride. and she also comes with that ukulele, man. That is one of my favorite accessories. Me and Josh both play ukulele. I play some in my classroom. When I was teaching kinder, I played a lot more. But yeah,
Nice.
this is a beautiful, gorgeous figure, man. That orange just works so well in that astronaut, man. But tell us about Georgia, Ira.
Okay, well, Georgia is, well, she's my favorite character. She's like a kind of a party girl. She went through college. She's really good at being an engineer, but it's kind of like Lego to her, and she just loves to like have a good time, and she's going to Mars because it's just the ultimate adventure, and she's just, yeah, that's her thing. But she's also a really big country music fan, and we have, through her, we've created this sort of country music singer, fictional country music singer that sings her favorite song, and so if you listen to the record, the secret song is a Clint Maynard song that Arlen and I wrote. Yeah.
Nice. When you mean country, like, are you talking like more like Willie Nelson? Like more
Yeah,
like that?
I guess it's more like Hank Williams, I would say.
Okay.
He's like a Hank Williams sort of character.
Conway Twitty.
Sure. Yeah, maybe a little Conway in there.
All right, yeah, but man, yeah, Georgia looks cool, man, and the little extra zombie parts looks like we got a dislocated jaw. Love that, so you could have like just the lower jaw removed there.
And I'll tell you something about that ukulele sculpt is Arlen, his job before he was a toy sculptor was a guitar builder. And so I just learned this in another video we were doing, is that ukulele sculpt actually has accurate frets. So they're like, it's all to scale.
It's a perfectly scaled ukulele.
Holy crap.
The strings are properly spaced. The frets are properly spaced. Everything is to scale. The neck is the right size. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Shout out Harlan, man. Appreciate that. That's great, because I can, again, the reusability across all action figures, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of all action figures here, then we also got the Red Walker Engineer, again in that beautiful orange that comes with him. Adam, you guys sent us some comparison shots here. I really do appreciate this, because it just kind of gets the size and scale, the girth of these figures in people's heads a little bit better. Here we have him with the Shadow Circle, Fisher Rice Cosmic Legions, which is that's what I collect. I love my Cosmic Legions, and yeah, I mean, looking pretty good scale wise. And even like girth wise too, because kind of the Cosmic Legions are kind of a little more bulkier, right? They kind of got a lot more suitiness to them, but this fits right in. And I've been looking for some human astronauts to fit in with my Cosmic Legions, and here you guys are making them.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I get from this is like the thickness. It's like thicker than I feel like when I saw the digital render, they looked kind of skinnier, but now I see them. Yeah, it's more like an actual suit on the human body.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is some of the other comparisons. You'll see that even more. But the Cosmic Legions one, I know that there's a lot of people that have been sort of like banging on the Four Horsemen's door to make human Cosmic Legions figures. And I was like, my soft pitch to them is sort of like, well, what if there was some sort of wormhole into Cosmeria and like an Earth-based mission of astronauts kind of ended up there. There you go. Like it might not be canon, but it could very easily be head canon.
I mean, they did drop those head packs, the character packs with female human faces, so we're almost there. We just need a full figure. But yeah, we got a Monster Force figure here, sizing up them, squaring up, and then a Marvel Legends Spider-Man comparison. Again, great height, I think, on these figures, and like Josh was saying, a good girth to them, and I do appreciate that. And here is that full layout. Here we got some Joes, and we also got, is that a Marvel Hasbro Black Series Mando over on the left?
Yeah, it's Black Series Mando.
Okay. There's our guy Garrison. There's our guy in the red circle there. So yeah, no, I really appreciate to get that visual out there. Most people have at least one of these figures, right?
Yeah, I thought, like, I was like, do I need more? And I was like, no, that's probably, you could put 30 different lines in there and they all kind of look similar, right? I'll be honest, I was surprised that it was that close with the Cosmic Legions. Yeah. I thought the Cosmic Legions would be significantly taller, but I hadn't really like put them next to other lines until I actually did this. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that a Cosmic Legions figure is more or less in scale with all these other lines.
Yeah, especially because those are like aliens, so it's like it makes sense that they're a couple inches taller.
Yeah, and you can kind of fudge
Yeah.
it too, right? Because they're aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have your Spexians or something like that, like it might be a little bit taller. They're not going to be like out of place because they're
You want that size
yeah.
Variation.
difference. Yeah.
All right. But we keep going here with some more unlocks, 169,000. Now, this is a head pack. This is not something that will be packed in. It is its own
Correct.
thing that you can add on. They're called gruesome. Now, how gruesome are we talking here?
You know what? I've had to say that it's somewhat misleading. It's very much on brand, given that it's space zombies from Mars.
Yeah.
Some of these are very gruesome, others are less gruesome, without sort of giving too much away. But these are, I've said that we're going to reveal everything before the end of the campaign. These we will not reveal until they are funded. These are 5 unique heads. These don't exist, as pack-ins anywhere else. So this card we're holding pretty close to our chest. And if we get everything else unlocked, that's fantastic. This we may hold on to and sort of reveal and release at a later date. But because they're unique, this is the one that we're sort of holding on to for the time.
Okay. Well, you guys will hit this goal, so I'll wait until we hit there.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
And like the things we can see though is like one of them is like has a piece of his ear chopped off, and then it kind of looks like, I don't know, like maybe the jaw on the bottom too. Like it looks like it's like uneven, maybe like a piece
They
of
just
the
been
jaw's
mewing. They've been mewing.
Yeah, for sure the ear's gone there. Somebody's missing an ear.
They're all on my
been
desk.
mewing
I'm
too
looking
hard.
at the 5 heads, like, and they're awesome. But
Are these it?
Yeah, they're fun.
Are these it?
No, those are
Those are pack-ins.
Yeah, these are the
yeah,
pack-ins
those are
here.
pack-ins. So left to right, that's Spike Specter's kind of alternate zombified head
With the eyebrows.
Spike Specter, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're now sculpted in there because there's no hair left. The neck piece is like it's a neck without a head. So you get sort of the blood spray, the kind of gore coming out of the top.
No,
of the neck.
those are dreadlocks.
And then Guy Garrison's zombified head sculpt and Julia Stryker's zombified head sculpt.
Love that, man. Love what we're seeing here. I love the variation in like the, where the pieces are missing. And I love this, like zombie look, man. It just gives that evil vibe, man. He knows something, right? He knows something. I don't know what he knows.
He never, I shouldn't say too much,
Yeah.
but man, it makes me sad to see Julia like that. She was such a beautiful soul in life.
A gentle spirit now zombified here. Now with that picture, I kind of took the background out there, and I saw some things in the background there. Now I ran it through my Adventure Time enhancer, and it didn't quite work out. So, but this is the best I could get here. We're getting some teeth here, some gnashing teeth. It looks like, and we're getting some other head sculpts. I don't know what's back here, but there's something, right? You're being sneaky with this.
The very back row is the gruesome head pack.
Right here?
No, you can't even see them. Like they're
okay.
they're so out of focus. I tried to like enhance and like zoom and do everything to make sure that you couldn't figure out what was in there. The front row is like everything that's like on the figures.
Right,
like
those are the
standard
character heads.
And then the second row is the alternate heads, and then the third row is the like shadowed heads, and then the back row is the gruesome head pack. And it was all like by design, like what I put where, so that as you went further back, there was less chance that you would be able to figure out what you were looking at.
Well, and I appreciate this. I'm going to be looking at every photo and everything you post a lot more closely. So keeping our eyes peeled.
I mean, you can see Georgia McBride's glasses in there, right? Like that's
yeah.
And even that like the white kind of like head with the fins. Like
the helmet.
That's the crown.
The gold parts are in there too, but you can't even see them.
So this is everything you guys are offering here. When the Kickstarter fully funds here in a couple more days, you can get everything here. Now, the cool thing that you guys are doing with the Kickstarter is you guys are running different bundles as well. So like if you want to get a figure, you can pick up a figure. Look at that, $89 already, man. Look at that. Love that. Nice and steady. Your rewards, I think, are just done so well, where you're doing it. Not only do you have individual figures, but you have these bundles where like you get to choose what type of zombie you want, right? You're not locked into like a double pack of one science and one military. You can choose your own zombies, right? Maybe you just like the military zombies, so you get 2 of those, right? Maybe you just want 2 Julia Strikers, and you have built in within those characters the ability to buy 2 and have 2 different versions, right? You're not stuck with 2 Julias and having to find an extra head.
It helps with like the mystery pieces because let's say like a piece that we get revealed that I really like, then so I don't have to cancel my pledge and reorder like the specific figure. I can just it's already there.
Yeah, like it's already going to be in there. So the ability to choose which bundle you have and then what figures are in that bundle, I absolutely love that setup. Just giving the collector more options to create, and as more things unlock, you can change those. Right, if you want Michael Luck, go back and Michael Luck in Georgia, right? Go back a 2 astronaut pack, and then once it hits, you can just select your two favorite ones, right? Like
absolutely.
it's allowing people to put that money, show that support now, and then make those choices once it comes out. Personally, I have backed for the Prepare for Launch bundle. I'm all in, man. I want that Vine, I want that comic. Give me all them. Give me that exclusive. I'm here for it, man. I really appreciate these. And once we unlock the what is the final, what you call it? All systems go. All systems go. I'll be switching my pledge once that hits.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I think you guys did a really great job on the Kickstarter here. You're showing up on all the different channels everywhere you can, like you said, to get as many eyes as we can on these figures. Because if you're into this, I know zombies are like, a lot of people do zombies, but like this version I think is fun, interesting, and I'm excited to hear the story as well and read the story myself. So, but yeah, Josh, what are you thinking? Where are you at?
Me, I'm gonna get like I need all the astronauts and then 1 or 2 zombies. But yeah, I'm all in on the astronauts.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Adam and Ira, for being here and breaking this down with us. And it was great to meet you, Ira. I hang out with Adam sometimes on Saturday nights, so it's always a fun time there on Oz's channel. But yeah, no, this is a fun Kickstarter toy line, and I'm excited to see what other toy lines you do, or what other figures you guys do within your nameless universe. Would you guys ever get some licenses?
No,
that's not really our vibe.
Okay. Heck no, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
that kills the creativity. That kills the creativity. No way, asking. No, they're called the Nameless Toy Company. What are you talking about?
That's true. I guess that's true.
No way, guys. Never,
they only make things that are just nameless.
Licenses kill creativity.
It's not really something that's on our radar. It's there's lots of great IPs that are already out there, but at the end of the day, like I find myself collecting new IPs and like new original stuff. Like
true.
If we picked up an IP that was already out there, it would feel like we were kind of doing the hard work for somebody else in a certain way. Like because it's sort of like, if it's not already out there. Like we live in a golden age of like toys where if it's not out there, it's probably because somebody did their market research and they just didn't think it was viable. Because there's very few things that haven't been remade or rehashed or reimagined or whatever. And I find it more interesting now to read new lore and to read about new characters and like different original kind of twists on something like zombies, right?
Yeah.
Something that like it's in the zeitgeist, but at the same time, there's still room for new stories and unique plots. And in our case, an origin story for zombies that isn't, something that we've seen before. So, somebody else's IP, probably not anytime soon.
Never. Yeah, probably never.
Yeah, we don't need it.
No, that's definitely a never.
Yeah, that's definitely a never for sure. Never, guys.
Well, yeah. Again, thank you for being here, Josh. Do you have any final questions for our guests here today?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you. Again, check them out.
Thanks.
Nameless Toy Company on Instagram. Make sure we're back in the Kickstarter, friends. Go down. Face Zombies for Mars. Pledge that all, prepare for launch bundle or, whatever you can.
Right. You don't get charged until it like the last day it ends.
Yeah,
so
it's
back now.
Charged until the end of the campaign. So the campaign
so don't be afraid.
March 31st.
Yeah, if you're interested, even the slightest bit, show your support by backing it. You do not get charged until April 1st. Let us know, friends, if you are picking these up down in the comments. And as always, keep collecting, keep playing, and may the action figure gods smile upon you. Peace.
Peace.